Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. My name's Justin Odisho. Hey. And yeah, I was at the first Bild, so that's cool. And there's a baby in the audience, so I'm nervous. They've got a head start on you guys. So yeah, my presentation, as she said, I'm not like a graphic designer. I'm not a professional photographer like so many amazing, talented people are here. But my focus and expertise has been within the software. So I just know my way around all the editing software really well. And so my slides might not be the most beautiful and everything, but what I do have to present is more than 10 years. I started my YouTube channel in 2011, so I've really seen everything develop and change. And really, I've been editing and posting videos online since like 2007, something like that, since I was a teenager. So I did 10 lessons from 10 years because it sounds catchy, but it's really more like 14 or something. So that's the first tip. Always do like sets of 10. So yeah, so as I just said, my name's Justin. I've been editing since 2006. So just a little bit of things about me. My focus on my channel, I like to think of it in three ways, like creativity, education, and inspiration. So, that's another thing I want to mention. Yeah, although I have grown my channel to over 1 million subscribers and all of these cool accolades, I do like to think of myself as, basically just a regular, hardworking person. My mom thinks I'm handsome, but I don't think like 1 million people are following me because I'm so funny or so pretty, or anything like that. So this is just like 10 plus years of making over 1,000 videos and a little bit of luck and timing. And so I really wanted to stress that part of what I really want you guys to take away from this is not so much like here's how to get 1 million subscribers or here's how to become like a content, whatever. But these are 10 lessons that I've learned on my journey that whatever your goal is, whether that's how to become a better photographer or start your own business or, I don't know, whatever your goal is, it doesn't have to be based on numbers. I do think that at least some of these lessons should be practical and usable for making progress towards what you consider your goals. So yeah, I really wanted to stress that. It's not about how to get followers or something like that. So, but I do have those cool shiny plaques that sit on the floor too much. So these are just some pictures I included too. So it's a little embarrassing, but this first one, I used to even record videos in my car. That little microphone there is I think it was a Samson Go mic. I don't even know if they make those anymore. And a really cheap $5 pop filter. I took that picture because I knew it would come in handy one day. And then the second one, at one point I thought the way to I'll blow up if I get on camera. So I went and rented this. This is actually in a basement of a photo studio. I'm from Michigan, so this is in Roseville, Michigan. And it was like a basement. It looks bigger than it is in the picture, but it was like 80 square feet and full of spiders and things. And I cleaned it all up. The guy basically didn't know what to do with it, and he's like, fine, you can have it for some cheap amount for a month. And I painted it, I put a little IKEA desk in there, and I thought if I get on camera, that will blow my channel up, but these are just some context. It did not blow my channel up getting on camera, but anyway, so let's get into the first lesson. So the first one, I figured since it's first, we can talk about getting started. And one of the biggest problems or roadblocks is, I'll call it fear of ghosts. So I gave all of my slides instead of don't be afraid of people making fun of me, I tried to give all of them a quirky, a little funny thing. You guys ever go to a bookstore and the book will be titled Why I Swallowed the Frog or something like that? And they'll be not anything about that. I'm also practicing my stand-up debut here. No. No, but yeah, so the first one is fear of ghosts, which essentially is like being afraid of things more in your head than in reality. So, for me, I was getting started in 2011 or even before that. YouTube was quite a new thing. I mean, not everyone was walking down the street vlogging and things. And even if you're getting started today with so many people doing it and there's a whole expo about it, it's really difficult, and I still feel that way. Like, it's uncomfortable, and you know what? Like, people do make fun of people that put themselves out there. But, so I can't promise, like, people won't make fun of you, but I think in general, though, most people, as they always say, like, think about themselves. Most people don't think about you as much as you think they think about you. And you also have to think bigger than just yourself. For example, maybe no one in your family or hometown really cares about creativity or photography, but there are people, as we see there's a whole packed expo here, who are into cameras and do find the value and importance in this stuff. So sometimes it's easy to get stuck like in your bedroom or in your family with a certain type of mindset, but your people who value similar things to you are out there, and the internet is a great, huge resource place. Yeah, and then also don't be afraid to invest in yourself, like little things like buying your first camera, or, like I rented that little studio space just to try to get on camera, just little things, Some of those investments might end up being the best investments that you'll ever make. And also, with this, you don't want to end up regretting. For example, imagine I never started, or I'm sure actually all of us have this, where you didn't do something because you're afraid that one person was going to make fun of you. And then like 5 years later, that one person's doing the same thing, whether it's like, oh, now they're trying to be a vlogger or YouTuber. And you really would kick yourself because you were worried that they were going to make fun of you, and then they ended up doing the same thing. So try to keep those things in mind. It's usually more, and that's at one point I started a podcast. That's what that picture is. That's a cool creator. His name is Schmood with an X. You guys should check him out. He does cool like DIY stuff. But we recorded a podcast on the beach. It was fun, and yeah, no one was really paying attention to us anyway. This is a screenshot of like old YouTube. So this is my channel when I had 270 subscribers. You could like put a custom background up. I made that in Photoshop. My channel wasn't even called my name. There was some random song lyrics in my head. So my channel was just called Just This Good, and I don't know what that means. But that's just to point out, like, that's another thing. People have fear of people make fun of them, but people also make up all these roadblocks in their head, like I can't get started until I have the perfect branding, or I need my LLC, or I need whatever. Like, I just threw in some random words that were stuck in my head, and then this video is called like Photoshop red color tutorial, and it has 2 views there. And actually, I wonder how much it has today, but I know it has a decent amount, which, yeah, all of these points are going to kind of tie together, so if I repeat myself a little bit. But yeah, as you can see, this is just to show you that sometimes you don't know exactly what you start, where it's going to go, and how things are going to look, and that you don't have to have it all perfect to start. You can invent yourself and reinvent yourself as you go. So yeah, that's a little picture there. So this goes into number 2, which I'll call the dabbling zone and other pitfalls. I think I got the dabbling thing from this book. There's this guy, I think his name's George Leonard, and he has this book called, I want to say it's Mastery. The book is called Mastery. Then he talks about like what it means to become a master in something, and some of the common things. And he says, like, there's the dabbler. They start things, and then they start things, and then they stop. So they make a little progress, and they stop. And then there's the hacker. They try to hack their way into something really fast, but then when that doesn't work, they stop. And then the best way to do it is consistency, which we'll get to. I just realized I'm hiding behind the podium. I could walk around like Steve Jobs or something. Do you guys like me over here or over there? So yeah, this one is like, I've seen this so much because over the years, I've had tons of people DM me or message me. There's one guy in specific I always remember. He'd always message me on Discord, and he'd say like, oh, dude, I got this great idea, and I'm going to start this thing, but I'm going to do it next week because like I'm getting this camera in the mail or something. And he just did that for years and years and years, and he always had these decent ideas, but somehow he never actually ended up doing anything. He never started any of the projects for one reason or the other. So yeah, don't let perfectionism be an excuse. Don't be a perpetual dabbler. You know, as there's this saying, like we overestimate what we can do in like a week or a month or a year, but we underestimate what we can do in 5 years or 10 years. And I think that's really true. And then the other pitfall is, you know, there's already someone that does that. There's already someone that does this content or that content. You don't always have to reinvent the wheel. There isn't really anything new under the sun, as they say, but it's actually really good to model what works already. So I actually saw back in the day, I wanted to make content, but all my content kept getting copyright striked because I was putting random music and editing random things. And I just liked making videos, so I saw, well, people like learning about Photoshop, and I'm good at Photoshop, so that's what I started doing just so I had an outlet to make videos. So yeah, don't let needing to be like brand new or some unique thing stop you from starting either. You know, just being authentic to yourself is unique enough, and we'll get there too. So as I was saying about consistency, so that red chart is actually I think it's like my daily subscriber chart at one point, and you can see like it just somehow slowly ramps up because I was posting every day. So actually, yeah, like 80% of the work is just like showing up every day and doing consistent work. I actually can't stress enough, like no matter what you're doing, whether it's making videos or learning to be a better photographer or learning your gear, whatever you're working on, in my personal experience, for what it's worth, I found that consistency is one of the most important. If I could put only like a few slides, this would be one of them. Consistency is like the magic thing that will get you 80% of the way there if you just consistently do something, and it's the thing that you can control too. So one of the bullet points I have up there is called the hope experiment. So I read this thing, or I saw it on Instagram, I don't know, but apparently there was this experiment. It's a little cruel, but this guy took 2 rats or mouse or something, 2 lab rats, and he put them in drowning water. I didn't put a picture, but thankfully I didn't put a picture. He put them in drowning water, and then like the rats would give up after a certain amount of time. But then the second time, he would save them right before they stopped swimming, and then he would put them back in. And they found, I mean, I might be misquoting it, but they found that when they knew that they had been saved before, that they would swim for like, I don't know how, like much, much longer, like 5 times longer or something. And I find that that's the same with when you're just starting out on YouTube I'm talking about YouTube, but whatever endeavor you're doing. When you're just starting out and you don't know if there's a light at the end of the tunnel, it is easier to give up. But if you just consistently work really hard, I found that like failure is not as sustainable as it seems. Like you can't, if you just never quit, eventually, I mean, can't guarantee it, but you have to somehow make progress in some way. Yeah, and it's more like a marathon, not a sprint. So, yeah, and that's going really much into my next point is the things you can control is the process and not the result. And this is a really important one that goes with consistency. So, you can't decide, for example, if you're going to get 1 million subscribers or 100,000 or whatever. And to be honest, the number is also, it's out of my hands and it's out of your hands. There's just, for example, there maybe is only a few million people that want to learn a specific Adobe software, where maybe if you're talking about something even more niche, like, I don't know, I'm thinking golf, but that's not niche. Something really niche, maybe if you're only talking about certain traditional recipes, maybe there only is a total audience of 100,000 people that are interested in that. And then you have like these famous vloggers and TikTokers or comedians, and that's like infinity. They can get 10 million, 20 million followers. So it's really, you don't control that, but what you can control is, did I make a video today, or did I work on my thing today? And that's something, if you shift the mindset of, don't say, this is my goal this month or year, I want to get X amount of subscribers or views, but say, this month I want to make X pieces of content, or this month I want to learn X, Y, and Z. Those are things you can control, and the views will come, or whatever the metrics you want to use will come after. So I think of it a lot like planting seeds and just watering those seeds. Like I showed you in that picture of the old YouTube screenshot, that video had 2 views at the time. Those things are like seeds. I made all those videos. They got 2 views, and then, every week, every year, people searching, how to do this color effect. Every week they get 100 more views and 100 more, and then somehow you look up and there's millions of views on the videos. And one big one is allowing room for, I used the word serendipity. I actually didn't know what that meant, and I was trying to look it up, but I guess the word is also kind of a made-up word from a fairy tale about the 3 princes of Serendip or something. It's not important, but basically these 3 princes like always would go on adventures, and somehow things would accidentally go their way. So serendipity, you guys know what it means, but sometimes, for example, it's even better not to set goals because you don't even know what's best for you. So, for example, I tried everything under the sun. I've tried vlogging, collaborating, or podcasting, all that stuff. And for example, one time I tried vlogging. You won't find them anywhere because they're all removed and they're embarrassing. But from those vlogging clips, I got some random B-roll footage that I used in some tutorial videos. And some of those clips that I took on this, me and my friend went out and just took photos and stuff. Some of those clips ended up getting millions and millions of views in a different context that I totally didn't even set out to do. So that's where serendipity can really help you if you're just consistently working and not always so goal-oriented or focused. And even collaboration. Collaboration is so important. I've done tons of collaborations with different creators. Like, my podcast as itself, it isn't even really like that. I did like 30 episodes or something, and none of them got that many views, and it never was my main thing. But through collaborating with people in some vehicle to collaborate with people, all sorts of unexpected positive things happened. Like, you meet someone here, and you meet someone in this city, or your video that you made didn't do anything, but the relationship that you built ended up being so beneficial. So again, be a little bit more open-minded, So, and another thing I really like is to write down my goals. Actually, what you see on the picture there is I like to keep a mood board, and I put all my things that inspire me or goals, or just things that are like reminders. And whenever I walk by my office, I can look at it, and I'm not one that usually believes in all like that sort of thing, but it's funny. Anything I've ever written down, I haven't written down like become a trillionaire or something, but mostly the things I've written down, I end up doing them in some way, and they do end up materializing. So I really do believe in writing down and visualizing in some way. So yeah, these are just some more pictures of me. Like, for example, that's a TED Talk I did, which was cool because, TEDx, sorry, it's not TED. But that was through, I spoke at my old university's student video productions club. And through that small classroom of things, the guy also said, hey, the university is bringing TEDx. Do you want to do that? So as I was saying with unexpected things, I've gotten to work with Adobe and visit their corporate office, which is really cool as someone who was just tinkering with the software as a teenager. And yeah, like I wrote down, there's a whole list, graduate college, reach 500,000 subscribers. I wrote it down. And somehow they all happened, which is cool. But kind of contradicts what I was saying about like not focusing on the goals, but there's a little bit of balance. So the next one is about how, time is constantly refreshing itself. So I like to say like every day is a new opportunity. This is a really good like reminder I always like to say in anything. So as they say, like the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. A lot of you might be thinking, yeah, well, you started in 2011, but I can't start today. But the thing is, even myself, I've been really busy in my personal life, moving, life stuff. And I noticed even on like a few months of a break, or as enough time goes by, a whole new wave of creators and topics come about. And it's like things are constantly refreshing. Now there's all these AI educators and these social media marketing pages. And there's a whole new wave of creators. And it's going to keep happening. It's not just going to be Justin is the Adobe editing teacher, and he's going to be that forever, or he's going to have that spot forever. It's like whoever shows up and is consistent for the next 5 to 10 years and whatever, that person is going to be the one that people are following. And people are always going to be like falling on the wheel and off the wheel. So yeah, this goes along with consistency a lot. Like every day, one brick at a time, it adds up. I think Einstein said something like compounding interest is the 8th wonder of the world. So compounding really is more magical than it seems. Like every day I made one video. Those videos didn't get that many views. But now I have a library of 1,500 educational videos. And that's a huge library that gets views every month. So the next one is authenticity is a cheat code. So for example, I didn't really script this presentation, as you can probably tell. And I don't have a teleprompter or anything, but the thing is, this is just my real experience. So I didn't have to be too nervous, and I didn't have to worry too much about it. And the slides aren't the prettiest slides in the world, but this is just my past 10 plus years of experience, and it's really easy because I can just say it. So when you're just being yourself, one, you'll find the people that you want to or need to connect with. Naturally, you won't have to put any effort into trying to be a certain niche or be a certain thing. And yeah, it just makes your life a lot easier because all of this technical stuff is already hard as it is, like memory cards and cameras. So, and also it's a good thing. Like let's say you're really into some specific thing like knitting or board games. If you are genuinely, authentically really into Scrabble or something, there's a whole community out there that you can find that are just like you because, in some small ways, we're all similar. So yeah, authenticity. And this next one I titled, 1 + 1 = 3, basically meaning like the power of two people collaborating is like more than just those two people. So just some small examples. I mean, this one's really easy. Like all of you in here, meet people, collaborate with people, going along with what I said about serendipity, like you never know what the results of it are going to be. And also, it's been the biggest shortcut it's been some of the biggest shortcuts for me. So actually, on the left here, my left, this is Brian Barczyk, and he ran a channel called Snake Bites TV. Actually, they're still going on. Unfortunately, he did pass away from cancer in the past year or two, but I got the really cool opportunity. For example, like he emailed me and said, like, I learned how to edit all my vlogs from your thing. And it turned out that his snake reptile zoo, and those are all snakes in those bins, and that is a real, I think it's an alligator, and I did hold it. It turns out that his reptile zoo thing was actually right down the street from where I lived in Michigan. And he emailed me and was like, let's just, or come check out the store or something. And we did a podcast, and yeah, like I said, not like tens of thousands of people didn't listen to the podcast, but I built a really cool relationship with him, and I'm glad I was able to meet him and do that. And to be honest, the other thing I wrote there is don't be too big. Like, maybe at the time he emailed me, maybe I already had 1 million subscribers and he was just starting his channel. But to be honest, I think he quickly has like millions and millions of followers on TikTok and all that, and shows all these cool snake hatching videos and whatnot. And so you never want to think like, I don't want to collaborate with this person or this person. Also, the other thing I'll say is, like, I wrote grow together. So, for example, I think like on the main stage, like Peter McKinnon or something is talking. The thing is, or Casey Neistat was last time. It's going to be really hard for myself or one of you guys to email Casey and be like, Casey, let's collaborate on a video. It'll be our big moment, and boom, I'll blow up overnight. Although sometimes that happens for people. But there's creators all around you that are getting started that are going to be, that next big person, or really cool people. Like, for example, the right one, that's my friend Daniel Schiffer there. Maybe some of you guys have heard of him in the video space. He does like really cool commercial photography and videography. And when I was doing a lot of live streams on my channel, because he had probably found my channel from wanting to learn editing, he was just in the live stream chat, and we sort of became friends, even when I had like, less than 100,000 subscribers, and he had just started his channel. He had only like a few thousand, but I thought he did cool work, and we sort of were friends. And then I told, I sort of gave him some advice on, give it a shot. You're pretty talented, and also, he's a talented guy himself. But I mean, now he has millions and millions of followers and subscribers on Instagram and whatever. And that's the thing, you can grow together with people around you, and it's a lot easier, more natural, and rewarding than just trying to find, like, if Casey Neistat puts me in his video, I'll blow up. It's kind of hard to do it that way, but there's opportunities all around you. So yeah, just the relationships and people are so important, and that's one of the best things I would recommend you guys do. Even from how I started doing Photoshop tutorials to trying to do video editing tutorials and more, it all happened because I was collaborating with someone, and they wanted me to import their audio in a specific workflow. I don't remember exactly. And I was like, oh, I should like show how to do this and that, and all these new ideas happened. So collaboration is super important. And then the 8th one is to stop swimming and build floaties. So this is like building out systems. So whether that's monetization or having your camera set up always set there in the room so you can just hit record, or having all your files on your computer a certain way, or your templates or presets. It can quickly become like a rat race making content all the time. I mean, I've taken breaks on and off over the past decade, and sometimes you do just get burned out. But it's a lot easier. For example, when I made my first digital products, it was a lot easier for me to take a breath then finally, because it's really hard to survive just on like ad revenue. When I made my first digital products, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, I can just sell stuff directly to people that's helpful to them. Also, like, one thing I like to remind people is, if you ever see a cool thing and you don't know how it's done, like, oh, how did they do that effect? Or especially these days with AI, 95% of the time, it's not that they have some secret skill that you're not going to know how to do. It's just that there's a certain piece of gear or a certain preset or a certain thing that they're using. You just don't know what tool it is, but if you had the tool, you could also do it easily. And there's almost a tool for almost everything. So yeah, just keep that in mind, building out those systems. If your goal, let's say, is to do it part-time or something like that. I almost wish sometimes that I would have started backwards, like have a product first, and then make videos. But it's sort of hard to do it backwards. Number 9 is always be learning and experimenting. So in 2011, this was YouTube, but then platforms like Instagram were coming out and TikTok, and you don't want to be stuck like, oh, well, I'm only YouTube, or I'm only widescreen. I don't do vertical. And nowadays, like vertical, basically like vertical is the only, or half the only thing. It seems so important these days. So this really also goes along with like the serendipity thing and unexpected results. Like you always want to be experimenting and trying. You never know what's going to happen. And yeah, one thing I did was I took a lot of all my old tutorials and I made them into YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels. And I found a whole new audience. Actually, this is one point I forgot with like the time constantly repeating itself. You know, there's people I met that tell me like, oh, I watched your videos when I was like 11. I'm like 20 now. I learned how to edit. But now, like I said, there's like a baby in the audience somewhere. But there are like, you know, 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds that are just learning about photography or videography, and they're just learning how to edit. And, you know, first of all, they're probably not even going to be editing in the old ways, like on the computer, but they're learning all these mobile tools and, you know, all these TikTok, and they just edit right on their phone. So you always want to be refreshing and educating yourself and keeping up to date because, you know, things are always moving forward. So, and yeah, don't be afraid to become a beginner again. So the last one is, you know, the best way to help yourself sometimes is to help others. So like I said, I think that like, the only reason I have any followers at all is just because all I've done for the past 10 years is here's how to do this, here's how to do this, here's how to do this, you know? Like basically there's a law of reciprocity where, you know, if you help someone, they feel like indebted to you in some way where they want to return the favor. And it's also good to keep in mind, let's say when you're burnt out, that it's bigger than you. So sometimes it's hard to keep going every single day on your mission or whatever it is. But if you remember that, you know, you're helping other people, it's not about you, it can be easier to avoid burnout. So for example, here's like one example comment, and I've gotten tons of these, but it says, "Thank you, Justin. I am a 72-year-old great-grandma." This was on a Adobe Premiere video, by the way. And she said, "You made it easy for me, and you rock." And you know, if I'm just sitting in my room or on my laptop recording videos, I'm not thinking about, you know, maybe I'm helping somebody's grandmother, which if she was right in front of me though, and she's like, "How do you do this?" I would have so much energy and motivation to help her. So it's just really cool. The internet is a huge place, and it can be unexpected who you're reaching and who you're helping, and yeah, sometimes like that's the best way to help yourself. So yeah, I don't need to drag this any longer than it needs to be, but basically all of these 10 things, I think, as you noticed myself repeating and going back and forth, they're all related. There's probably one universal way that you could do it, like say all of these points in one, but they're all connected. But yeah, if I missed anything or if I sparked anything, feel free to connect with me or DM me. I'm really easy to reach at Justin Odisho everywhere or on YouTube, or email me, whatever. That was from last year. That was a cool, actually some of those people are speaking again this time, so that was cool. And yeah, I guess now we can have some time for Q&A if I missed anything or if I sparked any question for anyone. Thank you guys, by the way, as well.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. And thank you, Justin. If you guys have questions, please raise your hand. Myself and Maz will be running mics. I think I have the first question here, and then Maz will pick someone.
Hi. Oh, yeah.
Hello.
First of all, I really loved your presentation. I came all the way from the Bahamas, and so this is awesome. My question is, with regards to YouTube, if you have multiple interests, or like how you've been doing tutorials for such a long time, did you ever have a desire to do something else and add some additional or different types of content to your channel? And if, like, how would you navigate that? Or what advice would you have somebody trying to navigate that same thing, not being stuck in that one thing?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question, actually, because I do have multiple interests. I'm not just stuck on editing. And that's a big thing, like, do I start a new channel or do I not? Me, personally, I've put it all, that's why I made my channel name just my name. It's not called, like, The Editing Corner. It's just Justin Odisho, which can be anything. And actually, yeah, I love, like, books and reading. I like playing chess a lot. And I've even done book reviews on my channel. I've done podcasts. and I have just put them out there, and I've trusted that the algorithm is getting a lot better. Like these days, subscribers don't matter as much. The algorithm kind of just sends your video out there. So I've made book reviews and book things that none of my subscribers watch, but they've gone to the right people, and some of them have gotten reach. But I think if you're doing it as a business, you do have to have some kind of focus. But if you're just doing it sort of for fun, or you should mix in your other interests a little bit, I think there's a way to mix it. But yeah, it's a tough question for me too. Sometimes I wonder, should I start a whole new channel and just talk about chess or something? But yeah, thanks. I don't know if I'm picking. I think someone's picking the questions.
Okay. Yep. Thank you. You've mentioned creativity, education, and inspiration are your three brands around yourself, if you will. I'm curious if you've ever found that that's been too broad for what you're putting out there, or if you use one of those for a particular social, like I see you on LinkedIn, your education. Can you explain a little bit about your choice with that?
Yeah, I think I saw someone, like I was looking up and researching different branding tips for YouTube, and someone had recommended, make an intro video for your channel introducing yourself and what you do, and also have some main pillars of your channel. And even I noticed like B&H has their pillars. I forgot them now, but they're similar to mine. I think one of theirs is inspiration. But if I was just to pick one main one, it would be education, because that's the main thing. I don't necessarily do like one pillar for each, but I do different formats. So like Instagram is like short form, sometimes humor, like memes and posts like that. And so different platforms are conducive to different types of format, but I do think everyone should think about their main pillars in some way. And they are vague, but yeah, mine's education. Maybe someone is humor. Maybe someone's is, maybe those are the only two that exist. But yeah, I do think some pillars are important. But yeah, hopefully I somewhat answered. Thank you.
Hello, so my question is, if you are starting or rebranding and starting like a new business, being that people love behind the scenes, like documenting your journey, would you recommend like starting a new channel and showing how you're building things so you can start building community with the people who are your peers and are going to be building as well, if that's something that you're going to plan to do with your business as well?
So you mean like a new channel, like you already had a channel and you start a whole new one? I don't necessarily think these days, if it's behind the scenes about the content that you're already making, unless there's a very specific, like, particular reason, or it's a group project and you don't want to bring your stuff into like the big group, I think putting all the behind the scenes and everything right on the same thing and just letting the algorithm work it out, personally, I think that's totally fine. I think, honestly, 80% of the time, most people could keep everything all in one. And that other 20%, if it's like a group project where it's a separate thing you can think about, or if it's like really, really different, you can think about it. But also, like, for example, like I've done vlogs, podcasts, whatever. I've always kept it on the same channel. And the thing is, if something doesn't work, it's not like, all your subscribers, not everyone's always watching every video. You can even repeat yourself. You can re-upload certain things about the same topic. Or, you can try vlogging for a week and then, I don't really do that anymore. And, you have room to reinvent yourself and try different things. People aren't going to, it's not going to kill your channel in a way or really offend your audience that you tried something for a week. So it's a very interesting subject. Both of the questions were about it, and it's a complicated one too, but hopefully I'm steering you guys in some direction.
We have a couple more questions on your right, Justin.
Sure.
How you doing? Earlier you mentioned it's hard to live off ad revenue. Are you able to expound on other alternative options of getting revenue from YouTube?
Yeah, definitely. This is something I've even made videos about in case anyone wants to dive into more, but Like some main ones I'll just list off the top of my head is like having your own product to sell, whether that's like a digital product or a physical product. Having a service that you offer, so photographers, headshots, whatever, having some kind of service that you offer to people that your videos could be marketing for. The third one is like ad revenue, Google AdSense, partner program, all that, which again, you're gonna be needing to be getting millions and millions of views to make a living on just ad revenue. It's hard. The fourth one is like working with brands. So for example, like it's a cool opportunity. I'm able to work with B&H here, or maybe Canon pays some creators to show their new camera. The fifth one, there's also like live streaming things you can do. So you can live stream on these platforms, and there's donations that you can do, like mini services. So maybe you do like, portfolio type of reviews live, and people can donate and things like that. So, and there's more too, but the best way I found is by combining all of these different pieces of the pie. Brands, ad revenue, selling your own products, having your services, and then little side things like live streams and things like that. I'm sure there's more, but yeah, hopefully that helps a little bit.
Hey, how's it going? I have a quick question. Wanted to ask about your insight on, and like kind of your workflow regarding, I know certain videos are a little different, but generally speaking, like do you script out your videos before filming them? Or do you kind of like just film the whole thing and then kind of worry about it in the edit, just more or less? And then do you batch also, plan for the week and stuff like that?
Yes, that's a good question. So I've done videos where I'm in front of the camera, and easier ones where it's just straight software demonstration. I like to, before I hit the record button, have all my materials ready and run through it sort of in my head. That's the way I work. But when I do demonstrate, because I'm teaching in the software, it's sort of easier for me not to have a script, because I'm like, now you click this button and then you're going to do that. So it's easier for me to just do it, but have it prepared. And then I still edit out certain hiccups and things. And yeah, when I can, I do like to record 2 or 3 videos at once and then edit them all at once. So batching is a really useful tip for anyone in any kind of content. The hardest part about making a video, I'll say, when I do have to get in front of a camera, the hardest part is, did I shave my neck? Do I look tired? Is the lighting right? Is the sun about to go down? So it's way easier if you got all those things and then you just batch it. Because no one likes to shave their neck every day.
Hi, Justin. My question is regarding your different interests and how you appease the algorithm. I feel like now with TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, it's all like algorithmic. Like you have to appease it and make sure your followers enjoy what you're posting and stuff like that. So how do you navigate posting what you enjoy, but also, posting what your followers want to see, so you make sure you have that traction on different platforms? Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good question again. And I will say this, like, if you want to do this as a business or a career, sometimes you do have to sacrifice enjoyment or what you enjoy and sort of just be like a business. So for me, that's like educating on software, even though I do like other things. Sadly, at the end of the day, like, it's a service and a business I'm doing, which I do love editing, but sometimes you do have to sacrifice that. If you're doing it more for fun, then you can not care about that as much. But you always want to be thinking, like, basically the audience is always thinking, like, what's in it for me? They don't care, like, maybe they do care, but they don't always care how pretty you are, how funny you are, or what you ate for breakfast, although these days they do. But yeah, you want to be thinking about what can you do for me? But the algorithm is getting better and better these days, and subscribers are mattering less and less. If you notice, if you guys all go on Instagram, it's not your subscribers that show up, it's just the For You page. And you probably watch certain things every week that you're not even subscribed to. So the algorithm is getting way better and better. And my channel focuses a lot on search. So if someone's searching for how to do something. So I've dabbled in other types of content for fun, because otherwise I'll go crazy. And some of them have kind of worked a little bit. So I think maybe do it like an 80-20, like 80% the main mission, the main focus. Maybe I'll throw in this side content and then see what works, repeat. Or even if less people watch it, if it makes you have fun or it makes you happy, then include that 20%. So there's a balance.
We have time for maybe one or two more questions, and I'm coming to the front right now.
Hi, Justin. My name's Latifa. Thanks for being here. I just started a YouTube channel. I have a culinary series called Clean Skillet, and we're Clean Skillet TV on YouTube. In your presentation, you mentioned that there are tools for everything. Do you know of a tool that I can use to format my YouTube videos into vertical videos for Instagram without the black space that appears at the top and the bottom of the video? I've done Google research on this, but it just seems like I keep signing up for all of these companies and they actually don't remove the black space from the top and the bottom. And so now I'm not able to upload those videos in the format that I'd like.
Yeah, so actually everyone, I'm doing another talk at 4, diving into like Adobe Premiere Pro and some actual editing things, if you guys are around. But inside Premiere, there's something called auto reframe. I don't know if you already are, if you're subscribed to the Creative Cloud or not, but that's one. It's called auto reframe. It'll take your final edited video, and it'll just try to automatically like track the faces and stuff. I'm sure there's other things like that do it automatically, but also if you just want like a manual way in whatever editor you're working with, one way you can sort of like scale and position and maybe some keyframes, or if you want to just do it like the old school or sort of like okay way, just like duplicate the clip, scale it up in the background and blur it a little bit so it fills in the black space with similar colors. But yeah, if you have some technical difficulties, just email me or something, I can try to help. But yeah, there are options for that, like auto reframe. I'm sure other apps, and then manual tricks. What do you edit with?
So I actually have an editor, but I can't depend on him for every single thing. And it's just something that I know I need to learn how to do because I could be really maximizing my Instagram audience, but because I can't just seem to remove the black space,
Yeah.
it's this one small thing that's just like holding me back.
Yeah, there's tools in it. They are in the editor, but they're like one button.
I tried to use Canva, it doesn't do it. Even the like Premiere one, whatever that you pay for, it still has the space at the top and the bottom.
We'll get it to work for you, I think.
All right, and this is going to be our last question.
Hi, Justin. I'm Adlisa, a content editor and freelance creator. A question that I have is about having multiple niches and different videos. How do you stay organized? Because I have a million ideas myself, but trying to put it out there and keep it organized is a struggle.
So on the platform side, like on YouTube, I love playlists. So I have a playlist. So I have Photoshop tutorials, Premiere Pro tutorials, After Effects tutorials, podcasts, live streams, music video stuff. So I have them all organized in playlists for viewers and myself even. On a personal productivity side, I love using the Notes app, like on my phone. I just have a Notes app for everything, like video ideas, video categories, to-do lists, and I keep them all separated in pinned notes. So like, I've marked out everything, like all the different type of formats I do, Instagram, memes, reels, whatever. I keep real organized in a notes thing, and that's how I do it, basically, yeah.